Chesty. Chesty. Hello. Alright. Oops, I bothered him from his nap. Anyway, this is part 2 of my book crawl series, with the 2-part series. It's a continuation basically, but I'll be visiting 2 bookstores today and 2 bookstores tomorrow. Thought I would do this more vlog style, like take you along, but I always end up getting the bookstore and I get camera shy. I end up just not doing a voiceover, so we'll see how it goes. All right, see ya there. Okay, so I know I said I would do this video vlog style, but once I actually got to the bookstores, I couldn't bring myself to vlog because I feel like it was just too inappropriate to be vlogging while other people were shopping for books. Like, if I saw someone talking to themselves on a camera loudly in a bookstore while I was browsing, I would be slightly judging them. No offense. So I think this is better, where I sit down and talk about the bookstores I visited, you know. So that's what we're gonna do, like part 1. Not sure why it's always a rainy day when I'm exploring bookstores, but alas, it was again a rainy day when I went to the first bookstore this weekend, which was Birch Tree Bookstore, located in Leesburg, Virginia. I think Chester's trying to leave, so hold on. Okay. This shop is a bookstore and a plant shop. So when you first enter, you pass through the bookstore, and then towards the back of the shop is the plant shop. Mostly just plants, maybe some books about how to take care of plants, but mostly plants in the back of the store rather than books. The pictures online made the store look quite spacious, but it was pretty tight and cramped when I first entered. But I think that just the lack of space made it more intimate in a way, and the plant decor with the bookshelves was just so cute, so cute. The first room of this bookstore seemed to be dedicated to nonfiction and fiction, and you know, with your usual shelves of mysteries, thrillers, YA, fantasy, sci-fi, classics, plus plants. It was all there. And lastly, the last few rooms were the plant shop, called Foliage Plant Shop, and so many pretty plants. Honestly, I would have bought a plant if I weren't such a plant killer. I can't take care of plants. And don't worry, Mom, if you're watching this, I watered your beautiful plants, so don't worry. There was stacks upon stacks of books at this shop, but I came away with 1, well, I guess 2, because I bought 1 book and then picked up my advanced reader copy at this shop. The first book I picked up was Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. I've been seeing this a lot. I think it recently won the Pulitzer Prize, I think last year. I recently went to Disney World with one of my best friends, and her friend, Melissa, actually recommended this. She said it was one of the best books she read last year, so wanted to pick it up for that reason. And then the second book, which is Unsinkable, is the advanced reader copy. I don't know if I can talk about it until the book is released. I think the book crawl is so popular that everyone's been doing it and picking up the ARCs. This was the only one that I could really choose from, but the bookstore gal highly recommended it. She said it's a historical fiction novel with powerful women, spies, shipwrecks, sinking ships, more sinking ships. I don't know. This one will be interesting. Who knows if I'll like it. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. I don't know. But yes, this is Unsinkable by Jenny L. Walsh. The second bookstore we went to this weekend was One More Page Books, located in Arlington, Virginia. I would say it's more in the Falls Church, Virginia area. If you're familiar with Northern Virginia, it's very close to the new Chase & Tales. Even though the address is Arlington, Virginia, it's not really in that city, in my opinion. This bookstore didn't have much about us details on their website, but they did have this slogan that said, "Where we take books, wine, and chocolate more seriously than we take ourselves." I love it. I love that slogan. You know, where can you go wrong with all of those 3 things? Those are my fave 3 things. This bookstore felt really spacious. The left side of the store was dedicated to children books and the right side was dedicated to adult books, and also a very cute area with the wine, and then the front desk or the front register had all the chocolate. From this bookstore, I got The Silent Patient, and I've been looking for this book ever since Christine mentioned it while Sammy and I were rock climbing. She said it's one of the books with the most memorable and biggest plot twists that she's read. That got me and Sammy really interested in reading it, so this is where we picked up The Silent Patient. They also had this staff picks bookshelf, and I saw Loot by Tanya James, which I'm reading now, so that was cool to see. That is recommended by the staff there. And I would say the second book I picked up is The Orange by Wendy Cope. This is a really small, I believe, book of poetry, and I don't read much poetry, but the orange was just calling out my name. Like, look at this beautiful orange. When I went to the register to buy this book, the bookstore gal was like, "Oh my God, I love that book. Like, I've memorized lines from that book that I'll just retell myself." And I was like, dang, must be really good if you're memorizing some of the poems. I'm excited for this book now that she praised it like such. And I feel like it'll just be a really gentle, poetic book. Just a good, maybe reintroduction into poetry, since I haven't read any poetry since high school, really. On Sunday, that was all the bookstores from Saturday, but on Sunday, Sammy, Christine, and I went rock climbing in Alexandria. And since we're already in Alexandria, we decided to visit the 2 bookstores located in Alexandria that are part of this book crawl. And the first one we visited was Hooray for Books. Based on the pictures online, this one looked like a bookstore primarily for children, which confirmed was definitely the case once we got there. Their website even states, "Founded in 2008, we are a specialty children's bookstore that has expanded to include an adult and YA section." I would say they expanded quite a lot because the YA and adult section was quite large. Carried a lot of books and had your typical tables and shelves full of popular books, fiction, romance, etc. This is where I finally picked up Novelist as a Vocation by Haruki Murakami. I've been looking for this book at the past 6 bookstores and couldn't find it. So I am so happy I finally found this book. I plan on reading this month. You may hear about it at the end of the month of May during my May book review. I wanted to read this for ANHPI month. Stick around to hear the review. The second Alexandria bookstore we visited was Old Town Books. Again, not much on their About Us page other than mentioning Old Town Books is a general interest local bookshop in the heart of historic Old Town, Alexandria, Virginia. We're passionate about building a bookish community. Join us for a book club or author event. Honestly, this might be my second or third favorite bookstore after Bard's Alley and Birch Tree Bookstore. This bookstore was so beautiful, so aesthetic. Another type of aesthetic without the plants. I just really loved the layout of this bookstore. It was kind of cozy. It didn't feel cramped, but it didn't feel like there's too much space either. And the sheer volume of books they had was great, was amazing. Also not book related, but I really liked these like bulb lights they had. It was just really nice. The books were laid out really nicely here, both on the tables and the shelves, and the staff again writing the little blurbs on the books was a nice touch. In terms of the layout, the front of the store was primarily dedicated to adult fiction and nonfiction, and the back had a small section for children books and also a kombucha fridge, I think. I bought the most books from this bookstore. I bought 4 books. Rip my wallet, but no regrets. The 4 books I bought here have been on my want to read Goodreads list for a while. The first one is Hook, Line, and Sinker. Actually, this one wasn't actually on my Goodreads want to read, but I read It Happened One Summer, which is the first book in this sequel, and I loved it. It was such a romantic and funny and spicy romance book that I wanted to read the second book, which is of the sister of the main character in the first book. And I've been looking for this one and couldn't find it, so I was happy to find it at this bookstore. The second book I bought was Piglet by Lottie Hazel. This was also on my Goodreads want to read list. The third book I picked up from this bookstore was The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty. I put this on my want to read a while back, but then reading the staff's blurb for it made me want to pick it up again, or pick it up finally. It seemed like a very adventurous tale that wouldn't be depressing. I would feel like it was exhilarating almost, so I wanted to pick it up and read it eventually. The last book I picked up from this bookstore is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I've seen this book referenced a lot on social media and just online in general. I've heard it termed as cozy fantasy. And because I bought so many books this month, I think I'll get around to this in the cozy season of autumn, or yes, in the fall. I don't think I'll be reading this for a while, but I'm excited for when it's blanket season again and I can just snuggle up and read this book. And so that was my 8th bookstore. I didn't like the tote bag as much from this bookstore, so then I re-returned to where I originally picked up the passport, which is my local bookstore, Bard's Alley, and that's where I got my tote bag. I was so excited to get the tote bag. 8 stamps and a cute tote! Yay! I also picked up another advanced reading copy service. This one had pretty good Goodreads reviews. It comes out, when does this come out? I have no idea when this comes out. It takes place in a restaurant and there's drama that happens in the restaurant. It seemed really interesting. Definitely different from what I usually read in terms of fiction, so excited to read this one. And it's pretty short, so I think it won't take too long to get through. All right, that concludes my book crawl that I've done in Northern Virginia. It was such a fun experience, but I think my wallet is definitely crying and I should probably put myself on a book buying ban because I bought so many books this month. But no regrets. I supported my local bookstores and now I have a great stack of physical to-be-read books. Just to show you the sheer volume of books I bought this weekend. One is missing, which is The Silent Patient. Don't call me crazy, even though it's a little crazy. All right, well, this is a wrap on the book crawl 2-part series. See you next week for my May wrap-up review. All right, thanks for joining. Bye.